fifth inning. Top of the third, Orioles hammering the Padres 7-0 to score in that one. Still to come, Dodgers and Pirates in Pittsburgh. Reds host the Blue Jays. Red Sox playing host to the Guardians, and you've got the Angels on the road taking on Kansas City. Cubs and Braves in Chicago. The Cardinals and A's in St. Louis. And, of course, you've got the Astros and Yankees in Houston.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Wednesday to everybody out there. Hopefully everybody's in the midst of another great day. It's warm. It's sunny. These days are going to be gone soon, Dave. Won't be long before it's cold and rainy. But right now...
You know what I can tell by that weather report?
What's that?
I can tell that the Mariners lost last night.
Just
enjoy it while you can, because it's about to get rainy and cold.
It's, yeah, it's, what do you say? What do you even say? I'm running out of words. I don't know. What do you say about this team? They are beyond frustrating. They are beyond maddening. How do you explain what's going on with them? Are they pressing? Are they? I'm not buying we're tired. I'm not buying that. I get it. They're not saying they aren't tired, but they don't have a different schedule than everybody else. Yeah, their travel schedule's harder, but you do have other West Coast teams, whether it's the Padres, whether it's the Dodgers, the Angels. You got West Coast teams, and I don't know. It was a game where I had high expectations. Brian Wu wasn't Brian Wu. He wasn't brutal. He didn't bury him, but he wasn't what you needed. He goes 5+, gives up 4 hits, 3 runs, had 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He wasn't sharp, but he kept you in the game. You still had a chance to win despite that. But then Caleb Ferguson comes in and immediately loads the bases without recording an out. A hit, a walk, plunks a guy, bases loaded, he's out. He's been brutal. I'm sorry, it's been bad. And then Spire gives up 2 runs on 2 hits. He walks 1. Caminero laces one down the third baseline that goes right under Gino's glove. Wouldn't have been a web gem. It wasn't a spectacular play in the making. It's a play he needs to make. He's got to make that play. The end. It cost him 2 runs, and then it was like kind of one thing after another. You're going, what is going on here? I mean, Cal hits his 51st home run. They hit 3 home runs in 1 inning. Cal hits number 51, and you're just going, okay, this is going the right way. Julio comes up right behind him, hits a home run. Polanco, you're going, okay, here we go. And then that was kind of it. And these guys come up in crucial situations, and Cal comes up with they bring in a reliever to face him with the bases loaded, game tied 4 apiece in the 7th. And he swings up, strikes out on a pitch up around the letters. I'm like, what is going on, man?
Yeah, didn't he I think on that at bat, he swung at another. The first strike
pitch, yeah.
was a high, just way out. I mean, look, we've seen him lift those out of the park, but yeah, it was just very un-Cal-like in that situation there. And then
you just got to put it in play. I don't expect the guy to come through 51 home runs. I mean, come on, the guy's done a ton. So this isn't ripping Cal per se, but no. I'm talking about if that were Julio, if that were Randy, you got to put the ball in play. You got to put it in play. And then he had, unfortunately, he comes up with 2 on to end the game, and he pops up to third base. Mm-hmm. It's just, it was brutal. It was just maddening, frustrating, whatever word you want to put on it.
Well, and it was set up like, okay, this is exactly the way I would want it. If we're going to have to be behind, runners on base with Cal at the plate, I mean, you can't ask for anything
pretty good
better
about
than that. Yeah. So and then, the Wu thing. And I think also just looking at the rest of the rotation, and we've just, last year, for sure, we relied on the rotation, and they were good. They were what was the best part of this team, and offense was lacking. And now this year, there was a lot of pressure on Brian Wu, just because the rest of the rotation hasn't been themselves, other than Bryce Miller's, last outing. Yeah. And I mean, it's just so backwards now, and I don't know if it's. We'll talk to Xavier Scruggs at 3:00, and maybe he'll have some answers. But there's lots of times you think, hey, are the pitchers feeling this pressure of not scoring early or whatever, not getting runs on the board? And maybe they are. I don't know. It's hard to explain right now. And I think a lot of people will just say, well, that's baseball. But that's not very comforting.
No, you're searching for answers. What's going on here? And the pitching had sort of turned the corner beyond Luis Castillo, who's been bad. But you got 3 quality starts in that Guardian series from Miller, Logan, and Kirby. All gave you a chance to win. They all gave you a quality start, so it was trending the right way. Castillo was the outlier, and then Wu. He's allowed an off day. He's allowed to have, and it wasn't one where he just went in there and got blown up and he was out after 3 innings, one of those. But he just wasn't what he's been, which is 6 innings, 3 runs or less. He gave you 5+ and 3 runs. He almost gave you a quality start, but still, you needed him. You needed him to step up and be that guy, and he didn't quite get there. And then the bullpen just comes in and blows it up, and it just you're just like, goodness. But Wu after the game just talked about, it's on the players. It's on the players to get this thing turned around.
You just got to take accountability for it. I mean, at this point of the year, you can make all the excuses you want. You just got to play better. You got to be better. You got to have more urgency. I think all the guys in the locker room, especially the guys that have been here the last couple of years, are sick and tired of the last couple of years of what have happened in August and September. And, it's up to us to flip the script and do something about it. And that's all it really comes down to. There's times that we've played good baseball, and we know we're capable of it. This is about as talented a team, I think, as anybody's ever seen here in the last couple of years. But, I mean, yeah, no one's going to give us any wins. We got to go out there and take it.
He called it a locker room, Dave.
God, I missed that. I've been very diligent about calling it a clubhouse.
Oh, he called it a locker room, so some of our texters are going to say he doesn't know ball.
Yeah, that's probably it.
But I appreciate that from him. That was very candid and very, look, we're sick of it. We're sick of that, and it's on us.
Right. And, the other thing that's kind of discouraging is comes on the heels of, they had a big meeting with the players.
Yeah.
And
that Lou attended, or Lou was there. I don't know if he was in that meeting, but Lou Piniella was there. Sharing stories and all of that. I do like that on the broadcast they were talking about Lou told him, hey, just have fun out there. Enjoy the game.
Oh, yeah.
Go out there and have fun playing ball.
Yeah,
and then I'm
like
thinking, that's not the demeanor you had as a manager. But
man, I'll tell you what, his son, that guy's jacked. He looked like he looked angry the whole time.
He did look angry.
Yeah.
He looked
you don't want to mess with that guy.
Yeah, he looked mad the whole time. I like when Dan got thrown out, they cut to Lou and you just see him go, just the hands like, what a bunch of baloney.
Well, I loved hearing that sounded just like him, by the way. But, that was frustrating also that, he was there. You think that would, provide some kind of inspiration or whatever. But, I mean, look, you listen to Brian Wu, and we'll hear from Cal here in a second, but, I mean, you hear it's not like these guys aren't taking accountability or anything. They're just beating themselves up. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's just, but they had the big meeting, and I'm sure you've got a bunch of guys that you can count on. I love this team, and I don't think there's a turd in the bunch, and it's just frustrating. Tampa Bay, not that good of a team. I just feel like they should have taken care of business. So it was that was really frustrating.
Yeah, it's. Especially when they have these great homestands. You had the homestand where you took 9 of 10. You could have argued they could have won 10 of 10 in that, and then they just had this great homestand leading into this road. And it's just so extreme what is happening in these homestands. Then they go out on the road and they just face plant. And then they come back home and they look like, hey, we're all on board again. We're all excited. This team is a playoff team. And they hit the road and you're going, who the hell is this? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not gradual. It's very extreme watching what they do there. And it's, it's hard to put your finger on what exactly is wrong. Cal Raleigh was asked if there was anything that stood out to him as far as their struggles on the road go.
I don't really have an answer. Just not playing well. Not playing good baseball on the road. That's pretty much plain and simple. don't really have much after that. Yeah.
Yeah, 32 and 39 now on the road. And, and it was weird because we talked about this yesterday that if you look at, batting averages, this is kind of a new thing because if you look at batting averages and OPS and home runs, they're performing on the road individually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have Cal who's hitting 265 on the road. It's probably adjusted a little bit because this was yesterday's numbers, but then Julio 300 on the road. Randy hitting better on the road. So, yeah, it's just something new here. And then, the pitching, you have the same rotation as last year. And that was a rotation that was number one and I sound like a broken record, but like there were 7 or 8 quality starts, opponent batting average, ERA, where they were number one or in the top 5. And it's just really frustrating now that, they've got the offense going. But yeah, and maybe it's the timing of not getting runs on the board early, and maybe that takes a little bit of pressure. I know most pitchers will say, "Nah, you don't press or you don't worry about it. You don't even think about what the offense is doing. You go out and perform." But I don't know. Maybe that gets in their head and they don't know it. But yeah, that just seems to be what the problem is right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm we're sort of beyond comparing the rotation to last year because it's been so disjointed with injuries and guys, in Bryce Miller's case, he's there, he's gone, he's there again, he's gone again, multiple trips to the IL. It's been completely disjointed. So it's not a fair comparison. They are back. You got the 5. Now you're just waiting, Bryce looks like he's getting back to form. Hopefully what we saw from Logan and Kirby, quality starts, good starts in their last shot out there against Cleveland. Hopefully that continues. Luis is the outlier where it's just been a bit of a tailspin through August and continued into his first start into September. So we'll see what goes on there. But
and then the whole Castillo thing is very much a head scratcher. But I mean, look, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of what's their upside. What's this pitching staff's upside? And that's what it is. So yeah, I get the the injuries and stuff, but I don't know. They seem fine now, and yeah, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, I asked the question on Twitter last night, which as Joe Doyle hit me with a message saying, "You expect rational, well thought out answers to this question?" I was like, "No, it's a heat check. It's you don't get many." But I just said, "Call it now. Do the Mariners make the playoffs?" Simple question. And as you might imagine, Dave, there wasn't a lot of optimism behind the answers. There was not let's see, right now there's 5 hours left, over 1,000 votes. 71.8% said no. 28% said yes. 28.2.
Can't believe that people on social media are negative.
Oh, man. It's one after another. This team has lost its mojo. It's running on fumes. The bullpen arms are tired, aren't able to deliver. They'll miss by 1 game. I'm still trying to be positive, but the last 20-plus years say otherwise. Not the way they're currently playing. They do not look like a playoff team. Not only no, but hell no. I mean, these are just all the responses you're getting there. And look, I get it. That's on the heels of another frustrating loss, so I expected it would be negative. But just trying to see who's looking at it going, okay, it's not good, but you're still in that 3rd playoff spot, and they're going to get it figured out. Like, how many people believe that? And you guys can text in 866-979-3776. Does this team make the playoffs as we sit with, 23 games to go? 23 games left. You're 3 back of Houston, which lost. You're 4.5 back of both Boston and New York. They're tied for 1 and 2 in the wild card. So that gap is growing. You're 4.5 behind those guys. You're up 1.5 games on the Rangers because they lost last night, thankfully.
And that gap is shrinking.
It is shrinking. It could have been. We could have been talking about a half-game lead today, but thankfully the Diamondbacks beat them. So it's 1.5 games you're up on the Rangers. You're up by 2.5 on Kansas City. Now here are the Rays, 3.5 games back, and they can cut it to 2.5, obviously, if they win today. And then Cleveland is 4 games back. So those are all the Sharks are circling. Those are all the teams that are circling you. So I don't know. It's. You can answer that. Do you think they make the playoffs looking at what's in front of them with 23 games to go? And more importantly, another question, if you're Dan, what do you do? what do? Do you shake up the lineup? It's not so much. I mean, you put up 5 runs last night. More often than not, that should get you a win. And Wu gave you 5 plus 3 runs. Your bullpen came in and gacked it. So is it the lineup that's the problem? Is it the guys he's going? You can only work with the guys that are available. When we start talking about bullpen arms, if he wants a lefty, you got Spire, who was in there, didn't go well. You got Ferguson, didn't go well, and we've seen how things have gone with Saucedo. It's not been good. So I don't know what his options are.
Yeah. 360 says, look at the batting average with men on base. I was listening to Bump and Stacy on the way in, and Bump brought that up. And look, I know that batting average, as Bump said as well, that, it's not the most reliable stat, I guess, in a lot of different ways, but they were dead last in as far as batting average with runners in scoring position.
The Mariners are in baseball?
In baseball?
In all of baseball? That's what they said?
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
So, no. I mean, and again, batting average not always the best, but still, that's
with runners in scoring position, the worst in baseball.
Yeah.
Oof. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware they were that far down. Text coming in, you can't escape being a cursed franchise. Are they cursed? Do you believe in curses? I don't think they're cursed.
Now we're getting into witchcraft.
Yeah, now we're into the dark arts. When you lose to Tampa, hell no, says the 360. TJ in the 425 says the Mariners will make the playoffs. We're going to pick it up. All right, there's some optimism. There's one. I get that it's hard to be optimistic after what we've seen on this road trip. And on the heels of last night where you thought, okay, they're going to battle back and take this one. But they didn't. They didn't get it done. You got to salve it. You better – look, they could still turn it into a winning road trip if they sweep the rest of these games. If they take this one and the 3 against the Braves, it's a winning road trip.
Yeah.
But that, based on what we've seen, feels incredibly unlikely, to say the least.
Yeah, well, and especially when you got the back-to-back home runs. Was it at the 4th?
Third inning?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but, I mean, at that point, I'm like, okay, we're going to win this game. We're going to get back on track. And then, like you said, Ferguson in particular didn't record an out. So, yeah, that was very frustrating, and it just feels, I don't know, in the clubhouse, it just feels like, you're hearing lots of negative things come out of there that these guys know. They know what the problem is, and like I said, it's a bunch of good guys that, they're taking responsibility. They're putting it on themselves, and that's all you can do. So, yeah, what can Dan do? He had the big meeting yesterday. I mean, it's not like football where you can go out and play harder and try harder and, things like that. It's baseball, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't even know if those kinds of, in Major League Baseball, if those kinds of meetings actually work. A lot of people I know think that they're hokey. It's all up to us as an individual. But, yeah, it just sounds like I expected more coming out of that.
Who do you trust most in this bullpen right now? When they come in, you feel like we're good.
Well, I mean, I would say Brash or Munoz, and but the Cleveland series was most recent, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I still think Brash. He just every once in a while gets batters doing weird things up at the plate, and that they're just entirely confused. So, I mean, I still like him, even though his last performance was not good.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I still believe in those guys. We talked about Munoz a couple of days ago about his numbers in August. The WHIP number is as high as it's been. He seems to consistently have traffic out there. Still believe he ultimately gets the job done, but it just gets a little tense. So I still have faith in those guys. Bizzardo is come through in some big situations for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that when he comes in, I feel like he's going to get it done. Look, we say it every time. All of these guys are capable of getting touched up, and they have. That's true of any bullpen. But he's a guy that I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with when he comes out of the gates there. And I'm like, all right, I feel good about what's going to happen here. And to a little bit lesser degree, Carlos Vargas has done a nice job eating up innings when you're, he's your long relief guy right now. Yeah, I think he's done a pretty solid job. He's had moments where he gets touched up too, but those two guys outside of the obvious. Spire, rough day yesterday, but typically I feel good about him, Brash, and Munoz. But Bizardo and Vargas slowly gaining more confidence in those guys. But there are those guys, the other guys where they come out and I'm like, oh boy, all right, hold on. What are we going to get? What are we going to get from Caleb Ferguson? What are we going to get from, I don't know if they're going to bring in Emerson Hancock, how they're going to use him. That was a rough first outing for him. It's Saucedo we talked about. It's been rough. Yeah. It's been rough for a lot of these guys to where Dan's got to use them. He can't run Bizardo out there every day. You can't do the same with Brash and Munoz and Spire. You got to use those other guys. But you're just fingers crossed when they come out there.
458, which is apparently Oregon, says, I blame Dave for thinking Stanton, Jerry, Cal, and company are all considered nice guys in his book. You know what I'm going to say about you from Oregon? Oregon produces some of the worst drivers on the freeway ever. Every time I'm on the road and there's somebody screwing around, not paying attention, doing
Oregon
something
plate.
stupid in the left lane, going 60.
It's
Always Oregon.
Oh, hey, a reminder, Hawks Live is back for another season. You can join Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. at Bellevue Square Center Court for a live broadcast and a preview of this week's game, plus a visit from Seahawks rookie Gray Zabel. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Bellevue Square Center Court. Learn more at seattlesports.com/events. Let's take two.
Well, Seahawks' first injury report of the season will be out later today. Got a couple of brief updates from Mike Macdonald in his presser. He said Tyrese Knight is practicing. Jake Bobo is still in the concussion protocol. And we'll kind of dive into some things he said about Uchenna and Torrey Horton at 2:45. But the Niners, meanwhile, have elevated Marquez Valdez-Scantling to their active roster for Sunday.
By the way, I want to apologize to Jen in Beaverton. Not you, Jen.
I wasn't talking about you.
I think it's going to be really cloudy this year as far as the injury updates go. I mean, Mike is just not going to do it. He jokes around about it, but yeah, I mean, he's doing it by the book, and he's not going to give you any more information than, what the team is supposed to provide. But, the one thing you mentioned, they elevated MVS. I think that whole thing of, we're going to have to change all our calls and things like that is very overrated. From my experience in the NFL, every once in a while you'll see when Russ was in Denver, I think they picked up something from him. But yeah, I mean, as far as them having to change all their calls and he's going to know their entire playbook, I think that gets overdone.
Mariners getting some more help right now. The Diamondbacks lead the Rangers 2-0, top of the seventh there in Phoenix. And this could be interesting down the stretch in the wild card race. Red Sox put their breakout rookie Roman Anthony on the IL with an oblique strain. They're expecting him to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
All right. Well, that team has been on a tear. Yeah. So hopefully that slows them down again. Never rooting for injury, but if it slows the team down and hurts them in some way, good.
Yeah, Roman Anthony is he 21 years old? Yeah, so he shouldn't be pulling his oblique.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of an old man type of injury. But, yeah, I mean, like you said, you don't want to wish – well, there's some players. Maybe the Astros you want to wish some injuries on. But not this point.
They've earned it. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Don't worry, we didn't forget about him this week. El Hombre Michael Bradley is joining us next with Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
Get inside the huddle.
The handoff inside. He's He's going to go. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Taking you inside the VMAC every week. Thursdays, noon to 2.
Our guys show up to play.
Player interviews.
It's obviously been paying off. Just going to continue to do that.
Previewing this week's matchup.
We'll say they come out and just run the ball down the Niners' throats.
And everything Seahawks.
If anybody had a doubt, don't.
The Huddle. Every Thursday at noon. Exclusively on the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here. I got to tell you about one of the best decisions I've made in a long time, maybe ever. Maybe one of the great ones I've made. When I went to K2 Vision for RLE, that is refractive lens exchange. And I went because I couldn't read any small print. I couldn't read text. I couldn't read restaurant menus, receipts. I couldn't read tags on clothing when I was sitting there doing laundry going, all right, is this hot, cold? What is this? I had to have a pair of readers with me everywhere, every room of the house, in my car. If I went to a restaurant and I forgot them, I was out of luck. It was just a giant pain. So I went to K2 Vision for RLE, and Dr. Kopstein, who did my procedure, started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. So King LASIK plus K2 Vision comes to Freedom Vision for every stage of life. Freedom from glasses, contacts, readers, and more importantly, cataracts. So if you're somebody like me that struggled with some of that small print, up close vision, or maybe it's the other way for you, distance vision is a problem. K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect and, more importantly, your permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And the cherry on top is you'll never develop a cataract. So whether it's LASIK, EVO, ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors out there with all of the info to recommend the very best procedure for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE, no readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Construction. You know, it was a couple years ago. We were seeking a complete outdoor living space. Molly wanted a new deck. She wanted to really make our outdoor space pop. And boy, am I glad we called PCF. Why? Because whether it's a very specific project or outdoor living, like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you completely covered. You know, Molly's an interior designer. She knows construction. She knows attention to detail. And PCF, they checked every single box along the way. And right now is the time to make the call. Up to $6,000 off your project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. And you can save an extra $1,500 when you bundle your deck with a patio cover. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or simply call today at 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, pcfgroup.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
It's G. Scott. School's back and it's rally time. Time to rally around the campaign to keep kids healthy. Kids need fruits and veggies to grow strong and stay focused. But for families on tight budgets, that's not easy. Safeway and the Washington State Department of Health have teamed up and need your help. Every dollar you donate at Safeway checkout helps families in need. And with SNAP Produce Match, they get twice as much for the dollar. Next time you're at Safeway, please donate to keep kids healthy.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, two-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Paid for by Hims & Hers Health. Hims & Hers Weight Loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at 4hers.com apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At 4hers.com/radio, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored to you. These include oral medication kits and compounded GLP-1 injections, the same active ingredient that's in Ozempic and Wegovy. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits starts at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatments that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help from Hers. Get started at 4hers.com/radio to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's 4hers.com/radio. FORHERS.com/radio.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee? What? El Hombre. That was a catastrophe. I know. That's a new low. Yeah. Roz is better. El Hombre. The natural meets Rudy meets... I don't even know how to describe it. El Hombre.
You know, this guy is still trolling me.
Oh, no.
About the Mariners being swept by the Phillies.
Yeah,
still getting
there was a
grief from this
picture with
guy.
a broom or something.
Yep. He's here. He is trolling us. He's trolling us. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. You know him, you love him anyway. El Hombre, Michael Bradley is here. How are you, man?
Wah. Okay. That's all I'm hearing.
Still troll. I just sent
You
him
and your
back.
precious 80-win team.
Yeah.
Would you send him back?
I had the emoji that said he's number one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He's used to that.
Are you used to that, Michael?
It's okay. All right. I can live with it.
Used to people flipping you off, telling you, "Oh, shut up."
Not so much. Not so much. That's why I teach, because I got no. They're not allowed to do that in class, or they fail.
Got a little power, a little authority there.
Exactly.
It must be nice to pull for a baseball team that's got a nice 6-game spread over the team that's chasing them in the division, and you've won 80 games and you won 6 of 10, and I don't know. I look at your playoff chances, 99.9%, whereas we got a team out here that has a team kicking the door open for them. The Astros are like, here, walk on through, Seattle. Come on in. The water's fine. Jump on in here. And they just can't get out of their own way. They can't do it, Michael. It is just maddening to watch what this team does. And when a team I'm curious from your perspective, and it probably hasn't happened nearly as much out there, but when this goes on, we're all looking for where to point the finger. Who's to blame? Is it ownership? Is it the manager needs to get these guys fired up? What's the problem? I have a hard time looking past the players themselves, but how do you sort of divvy up the blame pie?
First off, Philadelphia Phillies have lost more games in their history than any other sports franchise in the world. So don't say, oh, you're not used to this.
Well, in recent years, how about that?
Well, they in recent years, but I mean, it hasn't been every year, and they went through after winning the World Series. I got to sneeze. Oh, I just held it off. 2008, it would have been bad. 2008, they win the World Series, and then 9, 10, 11, they go to the playoffs, and then there's a long drought. And there were some disappointments there. It's different every time. Sometimes it's the manager doesn't have a firm enough hand or has too firm a hand. Sometimes it's the players. I mean, we're dealing with a situation, Nick Castellanos, the right fielder, who statistically is the worst rated right fielder or outfielder in Major League Baseball right now. His on-base percentage is like .295, and he hits right-handers as frequently as I dunk a basketball. So there is no reason that this guy should be playing regularly, and yet he's complaining because he's not. So sometimes it's the players can be a problem. Sometimes management just puts together a team that looks really good in fantasy baseball but doesn't play winning baseball. Do they come from behind? The Phillies right now have scored the most runs from the 7th inning on of any team in Major League Baseball. That's something you need to be able to do to win. So you can't always point to one thing, and a lot of times a team gets put together and you say, well, we can't get rid of him, but we can't get rid of him. And you realize that together they're just good enough not to get it done. So sometimes you got to make some big changes. And I'm not, look, you got a lot of baseball left. You're in the playoffs right now, okay? I mean, that's the one thing you got to remember. You got a 1.5 game lead over the Rangers, a 2.5 over the Royals, 3.5 over the Rays, 4 over Cleveland. So there's, you're in the playoffs.
Schwarber, 49 home runs, 119 RBIs, his on-base percentage solid. Tell us about him as a Philadelphia citizen.
We love this guy. And, I mean, he came here, everybody thought he was like the doughy guy who wasn't that great an outfielder and could hit some home runs. And now all of a sudden he's turned into a guy who's in a lot better shape. He punishes lefties and righties combined. They got him. They had him in the leadoff spot for a while. Now he's in the second place. He's hitting about 250, which these days, that's tremendous. For a while, he was hitting much lower than that, and he's a free agent coming up. And so everybody in Philadelphia is just basically saying, you better pay this guy.
Will they? They got the funds. We know that. I would assume they'll bring him back.
They're going to get rid of Real Muto. His contract is up. They're going to try to trade Castellanos. I think they're going to have to pay at least 3/4 of his deal to get rid of him. And I think they'll only get back like a can of Cruex for him. So that's about it.
What is Cruex? Is that oil?
No, it's jock itch spray.
Oh,
that's right. I knew that sounded familiar.
I thought it was motor oil.
Dave, how do you not know that?
Yeah.
So
I never had it.
Probably use that stuff by the cart.
Jock itch spray.
But anyway, they have the money. It's just whether if they don't do it, the fan base will be irate. He's a very, very popular. Right now, he may be more popular than Harper.
Wow.
Bob, it also takes care of ringworm.
Does it? Okay. I'm just sorry. I wasn't dialed into Cruex.
Wrestlers get that on the mat. So you got to worry about that.
Actually, tons of guys in jiu-jitsu would get ringworm. I luckily never got it. Or staff.
And cauliflower ear, too.
Yep. Avoided it all. 14 years, man. Hey, did you see that what happened with the Astros last night with Framber Valdez? You see the highlights of him, the catcher telling him to...
He crossed up the catcher?
Yeah, well, and look, they're saying all the right things publicly. Oh, it was an accident. We just got our signals crossed, couldn't hear, blah, blah, blah. You watch that replay, there's no doubt in my mind that he fired that ball and just turned his back like, take that. Usually a guy misses and he's going to, pat himself on the chest like, oh, man, that was me, my bad, or, have some level of, hey, what happened there? He just turned around like, good, take that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you're wearing that uniform. It fits you, you creep.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, you don't mess with catchers. I don't care how big you are or how hard you throw. Those guys are insane. They sit back there. They take foul tips off of every body part. They expose themselves to collisions. They got to squat down so their knees are always sore. Their back hurts. These guys are tougher than a $2 steak. And you're going to mess with the catcher? I wouldn't do that. And I'll tell you what, I'd be careful when I'm walking through that clubhouse. You're going to get a chicken wing to the jaw and end up on the ground.
Well, I just like that the catcher was telling him to step off because they were crossed up, and he just said, no, I'm throwing my pitch, and it gets launched into the seats, which was, as you would say, delicious.
Yes, that was tremendous. I was very happy to see that. And again, every team, you talk about how does a team get put together. You're going to have problems throughout a 162-game schedule. Families have it, et cetera. But if you got a guy like that on your roster, he better have been in the clubhouse saying, I'm terribly sorry. Here's a gift card. I'll buy you dinner, the whole thing.
Here's a gift
card. The catchers make the pitchers look good an awful lot.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the chicken wing. I love that.
You don't want to go the gift card route?
Yeah. Hey, real quick, any hand-wringing over these reigning Super Bowl champions before they start their season?
Oh, hand-wringing. Everybody's very optimistic here, and that's always scary in Philadelphia. We're not used to that. So we need to have a little bit of agita going into the season. I have it already. I mean, I'm still worried about the Phillies. As I told you before, I'm not built for a 162-game season. I get every game matters too much to me. I can't look at the big picture. So I'm still angry about, the fact that they lost some games to the Mets last week.
Hey, real quick, we're up against the clock, but give me a thought on Arch Manning, because he was the story coming out of the first week of college football, and he's overblown, all hype just because his last name is Manning, blah blah blah. It wasn't good, but what what's your level of belief in him? Is he a special talent, or is he just getting attention because he's a Manning?
Right now, it's a pretty low, and he is getting attention because he's Manning and because ESPN owns the SEC, and they got to promote him. And the bald-headed, large-eared one had to make it sound like this guy was the greatest quarterback of all time. So the hype is all ESPN.
Is that Feinbaum?
And he had bad footwork. He looked like he didn't know how to read the defenses. Give Matt Patricia credit for putting together a great scheme that flummoxed him. So he better rebound quickly, and he better start getting his fundamentals together if he wants to have any kind of season. He's falling down draft boards too.
He's not entirely bald. He's got like that tonsure going on around.
Yeah, I love that, the tonsure. Very nicely done. The 12th century monks had the tonsure. But he's a shill, and ESPN is a shill for the SEC, period.
Yeah.
The bald, big-eared guy. That's great. He is El Hombre. Michael Bradley with us each and every week. You can find him here. You can also find him on Twitter. @Daily Hombre is where you follow him at your own risk. @Daily Hombre. Michael, we appreciate it as always. We'll talk again next week.
So long, suckers.
There you go. Michael Bradley, everybody. If you missed any part of that, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, the first Seahawks injury report reveals a few interesting things about the roster heading into this Sunday's opener. We'll talk about that next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Hawks Live. Presented by the Dining District at the Bellevue Collection. Tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Come on by and join hosts Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer. And this week's guest, starting left guard, Gray Zabel.
This should be fun.
Hawks Live. Tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. Exclusively on the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
It is that weather outside. I'm talking about it to open the show. Beautiful weather. I rode the motorcycle in today. I love getting out on the bike as much as possible, as I know a lot of you do. Have sent in texts during the show talking about your bikes and riding and all of that stuff. But we all incur a little bit more risk being exposed out there on a motorcycle. And perhaps you're somebody that's been injured in a motorcycle crash. And if that's true and you're talking to law firms, don't settle for a firm that tells you they're a motorcycle lawyer. Trust the ones who actually live it. That's Law Tigers. They've been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide, and they are there when you need them. You get into an accident, you're looking for answers. They are there to help you 24/7, 365 days a year, because writers deserve real support when they need it most, and Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. You see them everywhere. You see all the tents, all the billboards, all the vans. Are out at all of the events, supporting all the clubs, all the shops. The Law Tigers are always there by your side. And even better, your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. So they don't get paid until you get paid. Plus, they're going to help you get your bike and your gear repaired or replaced because they know what that stuff means to you. So you never ride alone with the Law Tigers. Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
The insurance world, it can be confusing. So have First Mark Insurance guide you through it by taking the free First Mark Challenge. They'll explore offerings from top carriers for better coverage and lower rates. They save the Heward family thousands. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing you don't.
It's the biggest car giveaway in the Northwest. We're giving away 30 cars in 30 days, September 1st through 30th. Mustang Madness at Emerald Queen Casino and Hotel, Tacoma and Fife. Get one free entry daily. Earn additional entries just by playing your favorite games. Drawings every day at Tacoma and Fife. It's 30 cars in 30 days in September. Mustang Madness, only at Emerald Queen Casino and Hotel, Tacoma and Fife. The entertainment capital of the Northwest, where excitement lives. Visit emeraldqueen.com for details.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snare, that's short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
The fall, well, it's a great time to reset your workouts on new stuff, and Top Fitness has some great deals going on right now. Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and you've heard me talk about working out in your home gym. It's the best. From flooring to everything that goes in that gym, like treadmills, ellipticals, and strength training systems, well, Top Fitness provides it all. Top Fitness represents the very best brands available, like Washington's own Precor, yes, the company that created the elliptical, and Inspire Fitness, the leader in strength training machines, along with so many others. Give Top Fitness your room dimensions right now, and you know what? They'll do the rest. They'll do a complete fitness room design. And right now, get 0% interest financing. Mention you heard it from me and receive an additional $100 off any new treadmill or home gym. It's no secret that everyone, from personal trainers to professional athletes, love Top Fitness. Top Fitness has locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or visit them online at topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop this week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to El Hombre, Michael Bradley, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys just tuned in and missed that conversation, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Coming up at 3 o'clock, Xavier Scruggs will join us. You see him on ESPN, MLB Network. Talk some baseball with him at 3 o'clock. Meanwhile, Mike Macdonald was forced to give, I like how he puts this, forced to give some injury updates earlier.
He should be a hockey coach.
How much would he love hockey? Just going,
he would love hockey.
What do they say? Upper body,
upper
lower body?
Or lower body.
That's it, right?
Yeah. You could have a broken leg, lower body.
Lower body injury.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, all right. Here he is with, and these are very brief, so make sure you're paying attention. He was asked about Torrey Horton's status for the weekend.
We'll see today on how he ends up being, I guess, described his practice participation.
How he's being described.
His practice participation.
Yeah, they used to. Did they not do anymore where it's like doubtful?
Well, they changed the
probable.
They changed the designation one year.
Because I think probable used to be 75%, and then doubtful was 25%, and then I don't know what was the other one. They had terms anyway.
I think they got rid of probable.
Is that what it is? They got rid of one.
Yeah, there's questionable, doubtful, and out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's what you're going to get from Mike. I mean, I do the same thing. I mean, you don't want to. I don't think it's like a state secret or anything. But
yeah, you want to keep the opposition guessing, though, right?
Yeah.
Who do they need to prepare for?
I think a lot of that, like I said, is kind of hokey. Like I was saying with the MVS thing where, oh, he's going to give away all of our secrets and everything. Like, you know, and then, you know, same thing with, I mean, I guess if it's certain players, okay, let's be a pain in their butt, and you know they don't know whether the guy's going to play or not, so they're going to have to prepare for him if you don't know, and so maybe there's some advantage there. But Mike thinks about things very differently, you know, and we'll get into that as the week goes on. But like one of the things, you know, that he talked about a lot was how they're going to change the pregame warm up, and I'm like, what coach thinks about that? You know, I mean, really, but it's really wise. I mean, it's very
helps,
cool.
I'm in.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Mike's starting to really like come into his own as far as a coach. And you know, last year, obviously his first year, he's a very young guy, but I mean, the guy can just process so much. And yeah, I think he's really an interesting coach. I mean, as far as like he's really smart and he just thinks about everything. And yeah, it's I always use that as an example. I think it's just an interesting thing that, like, who cares about the warm-ups? Like, who would even think of that? Well, Mike Macdonald.
Yeah.
That's who.
He was asked where Uchenna is at health-wise.
Yeah, we'll just kind of let Uchenna's situation play itself out right now.
Okay. Tell me what that means. What? Available, not available. He's out for another couple weeks, a month.
I can probably provide more information because I watched him warm up in Green Bay, and he was in full pads, and you know it was when they had the joint practice, but he didn't do anything out on the field. But
He
they
just
had
warmed
him
up and
going through drills, and then the trainers were out there going through stuff with him and everything. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you've got DeMarcus Lawrence, you got Boye Mafe, you've got Derek Hall. You know, it's not a position that you really, you know, worry about that much as far as depth goes, but having Uchenna back on the field is huge.
Don't you feel, unfortunately, that we've gotten used to him not being there?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being real about it, what has he played? 6 games each of the last 2 years or 7 games?
Yeah,
not even half a season.
I know in 23 he played 6 games.
I think it's been true for both years. Let me look it up.
Anyway, because it was just such a huge void when he went down. Their run defense got a lot worse, and he's just a big, powerful, strong dude. And you know, you have guys like him and Derek Hall. Who's going to move those guys off the ball? I don't think a tight end. That's for sure.
6 games each of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So he played a full season his first year, played 17 games, and then 23 6 games. Last year 6 games.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame.
I mean, not trying to minimize his contribution, but I feel like this isn't a big. I don't know, how do you phrase it? They're used to it. I mean, I think they're not like, oh my goodness, what do we do without him? How do we account for it? All right, who does what? I mean, I guess the upside of his absence the past 2 years is you've gotten used to plugging those holes in. All right, this is going to be our guy. This is who steps in. This is what we do. And to start the year, obviously, you've already got that plan in place. It's not like he gets hurt in the middle of the game, and now what do we do? So his absence has given them some level of familiarity, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then the other one, and you know, we were talking a little bit about the friendly fire collisions are just awful. And Jake Bobo in that one in Green Bay, he's running up full speed to catch the punt. The guy blocking is running full speed trying to get the block, and those two collide. And so apparently he's still in concussion protocol. So yeah, that's one to worry about because they're very careful about that. I was listening to Bump talk about how, like, when he got a concussion. Because I got none of this treatment, but like his mom was supposed to wake him up every 2 hours, and you know, and they're so much more careful about that. Now it's like, you know, the coach hits you on the helmet and goes, you'll be all right, and then you're like, where am I? I don't even know. But
nobody was fighting to keep you awake.
No,
they're like, Dave, go take a nap.
Go ahead, have a couple beers and go to sleep.
Here's some sleeping pills, some beers, and we won't disturb you for the next 24 hours.
And before the idiot texters texted in, it explains a lot. Right? I know somebody's going to say that.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Hey, reminder, you can watch live high school football this Friday for the first Seattle sports game of the week. which is presented by STSPN. The first matchup pits the number 1 ranked Sumner Spartans against the 10th ranked Lake Stevens Vikings. Watch the game live this Friday at 7 p.m. exclusively on the Seattle Sports app, seattlesports.com, and Seattle Sports YouTube page. So you can watch it all those different avenues for full 2025 matchups. Visit seattlesports.com/high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, high school getting
That
some
is
pub
very
out
cool.
there. That's pretty cool. Meanwhile, he's been part of a winning clubhouse and a losing one. He knows this business. Xavier Scruggs is going to weigh in on the key to a winning culture. Talking about this Mariner team, he's going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Touchdown Seahawks! Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones. As strong as any defensive player he faced, he had the feet of a dancing bear, and he had hands that once they gripped you, he wasn't going to let go.
The next great chapter in Seahawks history begins Sunday in the season opener against the 49ers at Lumen Field. Kickoff at 1:05.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
You know, after years of football and the injuries that go with it, my first thought was always go get surgery. Hey, it's Dave Wyman here, but after a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, my eyes were open to an alternative to surgery, and I'm talking about stem cell therapy with Dr. Wagner. It helps with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, loss of cartilage, rotator cuff, labrum, and meniscus tears. And really what it's all about is getting people back to doing all the activities they love without pain and without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, which can regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The hotel is open and you can book now at snocasino.com. The destination spa, the expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the big 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yeah, the new restaurants, food venues as well. Effortless style and the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com to book. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That's Refractive Lens Exchange. Now, Dr. Kopstein started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. King LASIK plus K2 Vision equals freedom vision for every stage of life. No glasses, no contacts, readers, or cataracts. Now, if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision and now you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You never develop a cataract. Now, if you're somebody like me that had a pair of readers in every room of the home, in your car, you had to bring them into the restaurant with you. Otherwise, like me, you couldn't read the menu. That has all been rectified thanks to RLE. So whether it's LASIK, EVO ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors to recommend what's best for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Construction. It was a couple years ago. We were seeking a complete outdoor living space. Molly wanted a new deck. She wanted to really make our outdoor space pop, and boy, am I glad we called PCF. Why? Because whether it's a very specific project or outdoor living, like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you completely covered. You know, Molly's an interior designer. She knows construction. She knows attention to detail. And PCF, they checked every single box along the way. And right now is the time to make the call. Up to $6,000 off your project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. And you can save an extra $1,500 when you bundle your deck with a patio cover. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or simply call today at 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, pcfgroup.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners looking to get things turned around in the finale of their series with the Tampa Bay Rays. They sent George Kirby to the hill in order to hopefully salvage one game in the series. Faces off against Adrian Hauser. You can catch it all starting at 3:30 with the pregame show. 4:35 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Two games going on right now. They're headed to the top of the ninth in Arizona. Rangers still trailing the Diamondbacks 2-0. Bottom of the sixth in San Diego, it's the Orioles 7-3 over the Padres. Some finals from earlier today. Marlins fall to the Nationals 10-5, the final there, and the Tigers beat the Mets 6-2 in Detroit.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, we've had more than enough baseball conversation between you and I, Dave. We got to bring in another expert to just talk us off the ledge, tell us why things are going to be all okay out here in Seattle. Now joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline is a man who's been through it. He's played at that level. You see him on ESPN. You see him on MLB Network. You can hear him on MLB Network Radio with his show, The Leadoff Spot. He is the one, the only Xavier Scruggs with us. How are you, man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me today. I'm good. I'm doing well.
Well, we appreciate you doing it, and let's talk about what's going on with this Mariner team. And I don't know how much you've had a chance to truly focus in on them as a team beyond the story of Cal Raleigh and the home runs, but the wheels feel like they're coming off a bit, especially when this team hits the road, and we're all waiting for another playoff berth, the second one since 2001. What do you see from your eye when you watch this team and you watch how they perform at home versus who they seem to be on the road, which is not good?
Yeah, to me, it just seems like, and I'm very familiar with the Mariners season, being someone that covers all teams, I try to stay locked in as much as possible, especially when a team comes to my city. And I live in Tampa, and obviously the last two games have been against the Rays. I've gotten a chance to go out there to Steinbrenner Field and check them out. The one thing I see with the Mariners is the offense almost at times gets a little bit slow going at the beginning of the game. We know that the offense has been good, pretty consistent all season long, which has been a great thing because we haven't seen that in a few years. But offensively, I think they can help out the starting pitchers a little bit more, which have seemed to be a little bit more the issue is if they get going a little bit earlier in the game. Yesterday, they didn't score 3 until the 4th inning, and Tampa jumped out early in a couple of runs. And the same thing, going back to Monday as well. So offensively, if they can get a jump started a little bit sooner, I think that helps out the rest of the pitching staff as well.
Well, Xavier, what do you make of the Mariners pitching right now? Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they early on they certainly could use some offensive support there, but man, this is a team. They were number one in several categories last year, and you basically have the same guys. Do you think that they can turn it around, because they showed that they could do it last year for sure?
Absolutely. I think it's such a long season, and obviously expectations were extremely high when you think about how well they've pitched as an organization, especially the young guys that they've brought up in their depth organization as well. But to me, when you have, Brian Wu at the top of this rotation alongside George Kirby and Logan Gilbert, I think what it tells you, as well as Bryce Miller, it tells you that the experience is there. And yes, they may have taken a small step back, but I think that if this team gets going down the stretch, and that could ultimately mean the last 2 weeks of the season, right? But as long as they're going as well as they can down the stretch, I think ultimately they'll propel themselves into the postseason. And yes, Luis Castillo is going to have to be a better version of himself too, because when we talk about experience, this is one guy that's a big part of the veteran leadership there. And he's got to be a better version, at least using more both sides of the plate with that changeup and being a little bit more swing and miss capable. But yeah, this is a team that I think we can turn it around very quickly.
When you see a team struggling like this, Xavier, who do everybody wants to point the fingers. It's this guy's fault, it's that guy's fault, and very often it gets pointed at the manager. How much as a guy that's been in that clubhouse before, when a team's going like this, do you look at that and say it's up to the manager to get these guys turned around, pointed in the right direction, or is it all on the players? How do you view it when it's a struggle like this?
No, I think everybody kind of takes blame, specifically in the clubhouse. You kind of lean, as a former player, you lean more towards the hitting coaches and pitching coaches, towards kind of what the scouting reports look like, right? That's going to be a huge focus in this last month of the season going into October, is how refined are we with our scouting reports? How well are we at executing those scouting reports as well? And how prepared are we? That's going to be the big thing for these players, because, when guys take a step back, it's the one thing you can lean on is how prepared are we going into battle? And that's going to be a focus for, both the pitching and the offensive side. And once again, I have so much confidence going into September with this team, just because we've seen them make adjustments, especially from the offensive side. And I think that's one thing that you can lean on finishing out the rest of the season.
Xavier, they got a couple of guys that everybody wanted at the trade deadline, plus, some help in the bullpen with Ferguson. But, everybody wanted Suarez and Naylor. And, could they have done anything more? I mean, where did you rank their trade deadline moves?
Man, I thought they did an excellent job. You got two of the better hitters that were going to be available at the trade deadline. Obviously, adding to the bullpen is important as well. I thought I give them an A+. You think about how expensive guys are when it comes to trade deadline time. And, Jerry Dipoto was able to go out there and be aggressive. And a lot of teams ended up with nothing or short of nothing. And I just think offensively they took a step forward. And I know Suarez has not been the same power hitter that you've expected him to be since coming over from the D-backs. But I still think that lengthens out your lineup in a major way to now where Naylor's getting pitched to differently, right? And he's been successful. The same thing goes for Cal Raleigh. I think Randy Arozarena helps him as much as anybody else as well. It just deepens your lineup, and that's what we've seen them do. And offensively, from a power standpoint, that's how you win playoff games. You need power, and if this team gets to the postseason, which they're in a position to do so, power will be a big part of their game.
Xavier, I'll give you the other side of that, because I'm somebody that on social media was like, hey, they killed it at the trade deadline. They went out, now it's on the players and the coaches because they gave you the tools, and the immediate blowback, especially now when they're struggling, is, well, this is on ownership, because they should have been doing this in the offseason and not waiting until all these games are in the bank and you're either up or down by a few games. They need to do this in the beginning of the season, which I think is fair, especially when it comes to this organization. But what do you think about that, I guess, sort of counter argument to, hey, they killed it at the trade deadline?
Right. No, I think it's fair, but I also look at, notoriously they haven't really spent that type of money in the off season, right? And they haven't really looked to go out too far on a limb and definitely not use the starting pitching to do so, which I understand too, because it's hard to develop starting pitching, and that's exactly what they've done for over the past few years. I think when you look at kind of the timing of it, you also, as a president of operations, want to look and make sure that your team is in a position to go after some of those great players, and who might be available via trade deadline. So I think a lot more planning goes into it than people realize in the off season. A lot of guys are like, okay, let's look at what this trade deadline could look like in 2025 and even next year into 2026. Do we need to spend the money, or do we need to make the moves right now in the offseason when those moves might still be available right when we hit the deadline?
Xavier, just weigh in a little bit on Cal Raleigh and what he's done, and had kind of a discouraging tweet overnight. He said, you don't want to be in that situation again for 3 years in a row, and there's no sugarcoating it, and it would be a terrible way to go out. But yeah, I mean, he's been kind of vocal about that. But anyway, yeah, just your reaction to that. It was just kind of negative from Cal, which he's usually, I mean, he's a great leader and we know that, but just, what he means to that team, and then also, what he's done this year.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a bit of taste in his mouth, as I'm sure there are some other guys as well. And I also think if he's looking at it, and I think it's natural to kind of look at it individually too, right? He's had such a historic season. It would almost feel like it almost went to waste if your team doesn't do what they're capable of doing, right? And you don't lead your team to a playoff opportunity. I think that's part of it. And I think we also have to commend him for putting his thoughts out there, because a lot of times you don't really hear the truth from players. And most of the season, if you think about it, Cal has been pretty reserved as far as his historic season goes. So I think it's really of what he wants to see this team do and what we all know they're capable of doing, especially after such an amazing season. And just to touch on what he's done this year, I love the adjustments specifically from the right-handed side, right? Like last year was not that good. I think he hit the fastball at like a 150 clip on the right-handed side. The confidence that he has now on that side has even, I think, fed off into the left-handed side, and he's so unbeatable almost on both sides at this point.
How do you size up that MVP race? I know there's still a month of baseball to go, but, you look at Judge's numbers versus his, and they each have their categories they dominate. But, we're out here going, look, voters need to take into account he's playing a premium position and the most physically demanding position in baseball. And you've got Judge who's DHing and sometimes in the outfield has been hurt. So, I don't know, does that even it out in your mind, or do you feel like this is Judge's MVP to lose? How do you size up that matchup?
I feel like that does even it out in a sense. And, when we look at kind of historic numbers, right, and the first time we've seen a catcher do something like this, I think we have to take that into consideration. I think voters will. I think voters will also take into consideration, like, the new shiny toy as well, right? Like, that's always becomes a part of it too. But I also think about, this is a player that has the opportunity to take his team to the postseason, right? So I think this month is just as important for Judge as it is for Cal Raleigh, right? Like the production that he has this month, will it ultimately lead his team to a playoff spot? And if it doesn't, that may end up hurting him. But I also think you have to look at, what he's done from catching most of the games, right? Being the primary catcher. And I also think about, from a player's perspective, taking on the toll of your body and having the worst travel in all of Major League Baseball as well, playing for the Mariners. Those things factor into it to me. And I think he's doing probably the most special thing we've seen in quite some time.
Xavier, where do you rank as far as, the dangerous teams? I mean, the Mariners are obviously in that third wild card spot, but right now, it looks like the Rangers are a game and a half back from that spot. Kansas City, right. Tampa Bay. Who are the dangerous American League teams for the Mariners?
I think I think that mostly Texas and Kansas City. Obviously, the Rays have played better baseball, but I think it might still be a little tough for them to jump 3 teams to get to the postseason. I think with the good thing, and I think Mariners fans should keep this in mind, is that, Rangers have recently suffered a lot of injuries. Corey Seager just recently, appendix, just having an issue with that. Will have surgery with that. Some of their best players unavailable at this moment. Evaldi, same thing. So I think, just noticing that how much other teams are beat up. Kansas City, they have struggled, scoring runs a lot of the times. Not a lot of power in their lineup. Going to be tough ball games down the stretch for them as they've lost their last 2 games as well. So just as tough as it's been on the Mariners, I think it'll be just as tough for a Texas team that's trying to catch them, a Kansas City team that's trying to catch them, and the Rays as well. So when I look at the rest of the league, and I look at Toronto, I look at Detroit, and I look at Houston, when the Mariners are playing their best baseball, I think they're capable of beating all 3 of those teams as well.
Xavier, last one before we let you go. We hear about, establishing a winning culture, that you got to do that. And this is a team that, as I said, they've made the playoffs 1 time since 2001. 1 time. They've never been to a World Series. They got to the postseason in 2022. So, yeah, they've had winning seasons, but it hasn't resulted in a playoff appearance other than that 1 time. So in your mind, with that history, how hard is it to establish that winning culture? And is that on the manager? Is that on ownership? How do you see that? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, I think it is. I played for the St. Louis Cardinals, and there was always kind of that expectation of that winning culture, right? Like it was unacceptable to not almost to not win a series, right? And then I went over and played for the Marlins, and it was almost the exact opposite. It was almost too loose, and you're just hoping to win instead of expecting to win. And I think the same, can be said for any team, including the Mariners, right? I think it's kind of changing the perspective and not so much, thinking about the years that we've lost so much and how we haven't been able to get to where we want to be. But no, we are that team now. We've been able to show some consistency. We've brought some different players in that can do some special things. I think of Randy Arozarena and his postseason experience. I think of the J-Rod show. How much of a show can he put on during the postseason? I think about Kyle Raleigh and the adjustments he's made. All of those things to me show that there's ability to change the outlook of that culture, and I think Dan Wilson has been a huge part of that. The same thing for Edgar Martinez. I think that type of culture has been brought in, and we'll only find out here in a few weeks if it ultimately pushes them over the edge.
He is a former big leaguer. Now you can catch him on ESPN and MLB Network. Also listen to his show, The Leadoff Spot, on MLB Network Radio. Xavier Scruggs has been our guest here with Wyman and Bob. Xavier, great to talk to you, man. Really appreciate you taking time with us, and hopefully we get a chance to talk again.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me. Have a good one.
There you go. There's Xavier Scruggs, everybody. If you tuned in the middle of that or didn't catch it all, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab. Scroll down to our picture, click on that, and it's right there waiting for you after the show each and every night. And you can click subscribe, and it just happens for you every day after that. You never have to do a thing. It's totally free. It's beautiful. One more reminder, Hawks Live is back for another season. You can join Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. at Bellevue Square Center Court for a live broadcast and a preview of this week's game, plus a visit from Seahawks rookie Gray Zabel. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Bellevue Square Center Court. You can learn more at seattlesports.com/events.
Gray Zabel is going to be fantastic. He's a great interview, great kid, unbelievable. He's a guy that's like wise beyond his years.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this line, see what it looks like when it's real deal and these games count. So, gave you reasons to be optimistic, certainly in the preseason. Meanwhile, we were talking about what was going on in baseball and specifically with the Astros, who lost last night. We saw Framber Valdez look like he threw at his catcher on purpose, crossed him up on purpose. I don't know. I've seen that replay no less than 15 times at this point. You can't convince me that was an accident.
Yeah, so he first tries to push him off the mound, right?
Yeah, the catcher was telling Valdez, hey, step off. Right? Bases loaded, step off. I don't know what was going on there, miscommunication.
Right.
Valdez just was like, I'm throwing my pitch, and threw his pitch, and it got deposited into the seats. Grand slam.
Grand slam.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then I guess he got mad about that, or his pride kicked in, or whatever. But was it the second pitch?
Yeah, because I think he threw a changeup the first time.
Yeah.
And then the second one, it looked like the catcher was ready for an off-speed pitch, breaking ball, something, and he fires a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, hits him kind of in the chest side area, and you see the catcher's face looking at him like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And Valdez, the second he threw it, doink, hits him, turns his back to him. I mean, if that were an honest miscommunication, how often have we seen any kind of miscommunication on the field? You see one of the players going, "That's my bad," like patting their chest, or at least looking at him like, "Hey, you okay?" So he just turned his back and just walked off.
And you could see the look on Cesar Salazar's face. He was like, "What the hell? I mean, what are we doing here?" But yeah, it was kind of interesting too that I guess I'd never seen that before. So you're expecting like a breaking ball or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't realize that that's a fastball until it's like halfway there, right? So he had no time to react to that.
Yeah.
And just pegs him right in the chest, and he's got the protector and everything, but it's just such a bad move.
It's a chump move.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
and who's he mad at? You threw the pitch.
What a creep.
You threw the pitch,
Man.
and he was telling you to step off, and you threw it, and you're mad because you gave it up?
Yeah. I think he thinks that he got shown up maybe because of that. I don't know. But, I mean, you look at guys like Salazar are just, catchers are so, I mean, they're I don't know, they're so unselfish, I feel like. And everything is all about taking care of your rotation. And he was trying to by telling him to step off the mound. And numbnuts wouldn't listen, and it just I'm
glad he didn't.
Creep move.
I'm glad he didn't listen. It was delightful. Their GM Dana Brown it was on Sports Talk 790. Look, they're all going to have a united front. Both those guys came out and said, "Oh, total accident. We talked about it. We're all good. Everything's fine." He went on the radio, the Astros GM, explaining why he isn't going to put the blame on Valdez for that situation.
Let's not, fault Framber for being a competitive, mean guy that will, do whatever he has to do to win, but let's keep him under control. And that's the way I see it. And I don't want to pull that competitive nature from him. I want him to continue to compete. And we'll work with them and try to get him settled down when he gets a little frustrated. It's all a part of the game. It's all a part of sports. And you know from looking at championships all across every sport, there's always this competitor that you have to calm down.
All right, so he's not saying it wasn't his fault, but he's saying I don't want to take that away from him.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? You can't excuse that. You can't have it. You can't have, and I don't expect him to go on the radio and say, "Well, he screwed up. We can't have that." I hope he said it behind closed doors. Like, "Look, man, I love how mean and nasty you are as a competitor, but that's your teammate, and that's the guy that's getting you through the hard elements of this game. When you got traffic, when you screw up, or when things aren't going right, that's the guy that's holding your hand and guiding you through this game. That's your teammate. You don't do that."
Yeah, they're the least selfish players on the team. And the catchers are all there to make pitchers look good. So, yeah, I mean, and then, the other is Valdez English speaking, or is he?
I don't think he speaks English. I don't know that I've heard him. I think he uses a translator.
Yeah, but I mean, he had his agent responding and everything. I'm like, "Oh, get the agent out of there." So anyway, yeah, that was that whole thing. I mean, if you'd have said this is going to happen on one team, and you didn't know who it was, you'd guess the Astros.
Yeah, I would hope it was the Astros, because I want discord in that clubhouse. I want tension.
Yes.
I want that catcher behind closed doors telling him, "You do that again, I'm going to bend you in half."
Keep hate alive for the Astros.
Especially in there, yeah. I want some turmoil. I want some infighting. That'd be great. Could lead to a lot of hopefully some losses down the road and open the door for the Mariners. All right, that's going to do it for us. I want to thank our guests today, El Hombre, Michael Bradley, and Xavier Scruggs. Again, if you missed any part of it, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. We're going to turn you over to the Mariners pregame show. We're going to talk to you tomorrow with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Touchdown,
Seahawks! Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones. As strong as any defensive player he faced, he had the feet of a dancing bear, and he had hands that once they gripped you, he wasn't going to let go.
The next great chapter in Seahawks history begins Sunday in the season opener against the 49ers at Lumen Field. Kickoff at 1:05.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
Switching bath soap from sandalwood to tropical essence? That's glamping in the rainforest. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway near SeaTac. Tolling soon. Free good-to-go sticker pass at goodtogo509.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Hey, baseball fans, T-Mobile is turning up the excitement with the Grand Slam giveaway. Want to score 4 premium tickets to an upcoming professional baseball game? This is your shot to experience the action like a VIP. Stop by your nearest T-Mobile experience store and enter for your chance to win. While you're there, check out all the amazing deals and perks waiting for you with T-Mobile, your hometown network. Don't strike out. The Grand Slam giveaway won't last forever. Visit your local T-Mobile experience store today for your chance to win 4 premium professional baseball tickets.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X-Fi Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and I can see clearly now. It's amazing. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange, or RLE. Dr. Kopstein started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. King LASIK plus K2 Vision equals freedom vision for every stage of life. No glasses, contacts, readers, or cataracts. So if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision and now you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the capper. You're never going to develop a cataract. I'm somebody that needed readers in every room of the house. I needed to see the scoreboard out at ball games. I just couldn't see clearly. That has all changed thanks to RLE. Whether it's LASIK, EVO ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors to point you in the right direction. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle.